在美剧众多的经典反派角色当中，越狱的 T-Bag 肯定是给大家留下了非常深刻印象的一位。扮演他的演员罗伯特·克奈普也是因为这个角色呢被我们中国观众所熟知。那么他在真实生活当中是怎么样的一个人呢？他最近又有什么样新动向呢？我们好莱坞的前方主持人田毅对他进行了独家专访。
I know you got interested in acting because of your mom, and because your mom worked at a community theater. And can you tell us something interesting while you were working at community theater as a child?
I automatically love you because you start off with a really great question, so thank you.
So much.
I loved growing up where I grew up. A little teeny town called Maumee, Ohio, which is a suburb of Toledo, Ohio. They started this little theater program. Those were back in the days when your mom could drop you off, at the little local library, and you didn't have to worry about, somebody coming and messing with you or anything. And I used to love to climb trees. The town of Maumee got together with the community theater and started this children's theater program. And my mom dropped me off about a half hour early, and I climbed this tree. It was this huge tree. Climbed all the way to the top. I was a couple hundred feet up in the air. And I'm just swinging back and forth on a branch up in there. And all these little kids gathered below, 9, 10, 11-year-old kids. And the director, his name was Mr. Markle. I still remember his name. And some kid nudged him and pointed up to the top of the tree. And he looked up at the top of the tree and he said, "Hey, you want to join the theater?"
That was it?
I looked down and I went, "Okay."
That was it?
And I climbed down and I've been involved ever since.
Robert 在好莱坞打拼多年，出演了多部影视作品，但直到 Fox 热门剧《Prison Break》越狱，才让大家真正认识了他。
T-Bag is such a complicated character. How did you study him and deliver him so truthfully and so successfully?
I learned from a great teacher, two great teachers, one at Northwestern University and one in New York, Bill Esper, who taught me to use my imagination. When I was a little kid, at Easter time, Easter's coming up here, so it's kind of appropriate time. When you're a little boy and a little girl here, little Christian boy and girl, they put you in a little suit, a little bow tie, and the girls dress up in like little Easter dresses and little called Easter bonnets. And I kept imagining this little boy standing there by himself, little Teddy, and he had like no teeth, something, because little boys lose their teeth, and his little suit that somehow they'd put together for him, and a little bow tie like I had, and shaved head like I had. And if you took the camera and you zeroed in slowly into his eyeball, you know how when you look in an eyeball, you can see in a picture, you can see the reflection of the lights,
right.
And sometimes you can even see the camera. I thought, well, what if, like, you just kept moving in, and you saw, all of a sudden, you saw the horror that was in Teddy's eyes, what he had been subjected to by his father, right? But he's still got that smile. He's like, everything's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be okay. And then he covers it up and he puts the smile on, and I thought, that's the beginning of Teddy.
剧《Cult》戏中迷局中扮演了一个演员及邪教教主的双重角色。
We're talking about cult. When I got the news, like, you were gonna play Bill Graham.
Cult leader, yeah.
Cult leader,
Yeah.
yeah. I was like, yes, because I couldn't imagine who else. Seriously. Well, tell us
I
about...
hope Cult plays in China.
Yeah,
I hope it does. It's a tricky show, and it's struggling here to find its audience because it's not a typical CW show. It's basically a show within a show, and it's a great comment on the power of social media. And some puppeteer, some puppet master is looking over us and using social media to create his own cult. So I get to play two characters. I play the cult leader, who's this manipulative, magnanimous, magnetic character who's also just a monster, all these M words. And then I get to play the actor who plays that part, who is a bit of a monster himself, but also you show the vulnerable side and the nerdy side of being an actor.
除了拍摄戏中迷局外 ，Robert 在不久前还完成了一部众星云集的电影。
So you just finished R.I.P.D. Tell us about your character.
R.I.P.D. is with Jeff Bridges and Ryan Reynolds and Kevin Bacon. It's a huge cast of amazing people, and me. And I got to play this character it's like Tony Shalhoub in Men in Black, kind of this nerdy guy. I had these teeth that I had worn years ago, I played Bobby Kennedy in a network miniseries. So I had these teeth made that were like almost the exact same size as his teeth, and he had big teeth, and he kind of looked like Bobby Kennedy. And when you put them in your mouth, it looked like Bugs Bunny. So you'll see in the movie, I use these teeth, but the funny thing about him is the night before I started shooting, our makeup artist dropped the teeth, and they're like porcelain, right? They broke right in half. So she was just crushed that she had broken these teeth. So during the night, she glued these teeth back together. So the teeth aren't perfect. They don't quite fit in my mouth, right? You put them in and like they really start to hurt. And they were perfect because I had this natural lisp in the movie, which I didn't have with Bobby Kennedy, but it kind of works in the part. I almost became Bugs Bunny in this thing. And there's Jeff Bridges like "Jar, jar," in my face trying to get me to admit that I'm a deado. And I'm like, I didn't do it. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It's funny.
Yeah.
That's somebody nobody knows that, by the way. You're the first person I ever talked
That's
about.
awesome.
在访谈结束前，我教了 Robert 如何说你好中国，并请他用 teabag 的口吻来讲。大家来看看。
你好，中国。